Good morning, my wonderful shiny gems. How's it going? We're gonna get started here a little bit early. Again, we are doing D&D Talks. So, you didn't hear it go crash? Aw. Well, try again. Try again. Of course, it's on a cooldown. You got 3 seconds. Sorry with the table flip. Check it out. Alright. So, yeah. Again, we are going to be doing D&D Talks. This is the time. This is the time where the viewers get to ask questions about D&D and how I would respond to them as a DM, as well as my beautiful players. We are starting a tad bit early. Actually, I probably shouldn't have started until afterwards, but that's okay. Because normally we start at noon. But I decided to start a little bit early because Solray has 100 million questions to be asked and answered. But yeah. A 100 level boost. Zarkon, you devastated them though. Zarkon devastated. You just devastated them. I mean, terrifyingly devastated them. Hey there, Leo. How's it going? I know how it's going for you, but I'm gonna say it again. And I love those little lions. They're so cute. More devastation is better. What? You killed 2 people. Isn't that enough? Let's see. Oh, yes. They're just so cute. See, I got... Oh, where's my tier 3? Hold on. Tier 3. Where's tier 3? There's... I got those kitties. I got my kitties. Yeah. Oh yeah. I got my kitties. My kitties. Okay. Anyways, back to what I was saying. So before we even get to that, I'm gonna say this. Thursday, Leo and I are going to start Conan. We are wondering, aside from us doing just a private co-op, we were wondering if any of you would like to join us. And hang out and whatnot in that server. Aside from just us. It's been going good. Kinda just snowed in up here and about a foot in of snow. I know, Zarkon, your computer went kaput. And Arc, and my subserver for Arc is still up and running. We're gonna do a wipe here shortly because I want to go continue playing. So, for those of you who have dinosaurs in there and need to and want to get them away to your single player server or something, you are welcome to do that. Let's see. I can't think of anything else. Yep. Yeah, so I'll be posting an announcement in my Discord. If you're interested, just let us know. I'll even probably set up a Conan text thing for everybody to see and hang out with and whatnot. Path of Exiles. Yes, I'm still working on Path of Exiles. Their new league will start next month sometime. I think like in the teens. What else? We might be starting up Star Wars: The Old Republic again. Here, so I'm actually so let me back up. I'm actually feeling like a ton better. Like I know for the last few months I've been like super sick, have been hardly ever streaming or anything, but the last couple of weeks I've been feeling good. This last week was just like 100 times better. So I'm like I am hoping for goodness here. I've got goodness here, so I'm finally feeling better. So I should starting to stream more often, and that'll be starting Monday next week. In fact, this coming Monday. In fact, I even have it written on my calendar. But yeah. No, bad time for my PC to die. I wanted to play Star Wars with you. Well, you can if you get a new PC, I guess, but you kind of have to wait. The other thing is we started quest mode, or whatever. Quest mode? Yeah, quest mode. If you scroll down, there's a little panel that says quest mode. Game points. You can gain a free subscription to me. And you're just playing like games that a lot of people have already been playing. Even mobile games like Merge Dragons. I've never played that game, to be honest, but there's a Looney Tune game on there that I might try. So yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know. But again, that's in quest mode. It's down in the panels below. Forgotten Kingdom. Guess what? What? I did not plan to say that, by the way, in case you're interested. But yeah, so let's get started. It's time to get started. So do you guys have any questions about D&D for me? I don't know if Soul Ray's here with us yet, but do you have any questions for D&D for me? I have to get out my note sheet. Hold on, guys. I gotta get out my note sheet. You know, I don't even think I gave the players... I'm a bad DM. I don't even think I gave the players experience points, in all honesty.
Bindo wants to know when he's getting his +5 scimitar.
Soon, maybe? Very soon?
He just has to roll better.
Yes, Bindle. Will Bindle betray anyone today? Never, Soul Ray.
Bindle's not evil.
Everybody thinks he is, though, for some reason. I never understood that. It's like he's the nicest guy we have, and everybody thinks he's evil because he's nice.
You gotta think like Robin Hood, or like he's not evil, but he will break the law.
Right? There you go.
Yeah.
Alright, hold on. I gotta... I've been a very bad person. Okay, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 6, 7, 8... 8 spiders and... 3... Yeah, okay, 3. 3 goblins. Okay, I've been a very bad DM. I forgot about that. We're not gonna talk about that.
Yeah, Bindle does... he doesn't want to be famous, but he wants to be well known. I guess it's almost the same thing. But he's not in it for the fame, he's in it for legacy.
There you go, yeah. Okay. Not that you guys got anywhere, really. So you killed a total of 8 spiders and 3 goblins last time. All right. I've been very, very bad, people.
Nobody leveled, all right? Or
No, no one's gonna level. No.
okay.
So I'm not too concerned about it, but at the same time, I feel like an idiot for not giving you guys your XP.
Like one week could go by without you giving us.
Yeah. All right. So you had questions.
Mm-hmm.
Mendel wants world domination. Sarkon. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to the D&D
Some of them
talk.
are just less questions and more about how do we want to handle, these rules. Keep the house rule, keep the book rule, do something in between, just so that everybody that's playing is on the same page and same understanding of how things work and are
Right.
going to work.
Yeah.
For example, the way you do unconsciousness, if the rule where if they take enough that damage that it's over their HP, so if they have like 10 HP and they get hit for 12,
Oh,
that would
I
be
don't
like an
do
instant
negatives.
death, right? You don't.
No. So, wait, okay, sorry to interrupt you. So the idea of that is, if you do over the amount of damage that they have, you actually go into the negative hit points.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't deal with negative hit points.
Yeah. So you also have a different way to do coming back from unconsciousness, because other people will just have you be healed. You're unconscious, you're not dead, and you can heal back that negative HP, but you're not doing negative HP, so you're not doing the healing back, which that's okay. And I do like that you have a constitution check to see if they're wide awake or not.
Yep.
So that's one thing that everybody should know right now already. That's how saves
That's how
work.
it's done right now. Yep.
So if you get stabilized, you're at 1 HP, but you're still unconscious.
Mm-hmm.
This may be a problem later if anybody plays a barbarian. But
A what?
Barbarian.
Oh yeah.
Because they have a thing about coming back at 1 HP and keep fighting. So
right, yeah.
But I guess we'll cross that bridge because I kind of want to play barbarian now. So, but so that's an example of these are the rules, these are the house rules, and this is our understanding of it. It's kind of like we're not going to deal with this negative HP thing, but you're also not going to be allowed to heal while someone's unconscious, because that heal is supposed to go against the negative HP.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's fair. So we stabilize them. They're at 1 HP. Then you can heal them.
Yep.
So So that's one example of something that I like to bring up so that everybody's on the.
Yeah.
Another thing is the help feature, which we've talked about. And
yes.
When I heard it explained, they didn't mention anything about having a range. I thought it was just other characters in the game, and I kind of like that idea because it's not free. It's not a free action. It costs you your main action.
Full action. Yeah.
Full action. So it sounded fair, but then I read that you're supposed to use it on a creature that's 5 feet from you, that you're in melee range, and I'm like, that doesn't feel so great. Like, you're in melee range, you could just attack him then. You know what I mean?
At that point, yeah. At that point.
So, I guess I want to bring up, would you still allow us to use the help feature if we use a sort of creative, maybe role-playing way to give another player advantage on their next turn?
Yeah. Yeah, I would. So,
I know we've talked about this before, but, so other people...
Right. No, you're good. So, let's go here. So, Oz is what? About, we'll say 10, 20 feet What is that? 10, 15? Wow. We'll say, well, that must be his movement speed, actually. It's gotta be his movement. So, say he's this far away. He can clearly reach. I assume that's his movement speed, 30 feet. Or close to it, 25, 30, yeah. Say he can move that far, and Valerian's in his range. He could probably help him, depending on what he's doing to help him. Is he distracting the goblin that's right? Seriously? Ping right here? Trying to distract him or whatnot, then yeah, that would be helping him, because that would mean this goblin is distracted by him while he's basically, that would give him an advantage. So yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed that there's no flanking bonuses like there used to be. Or this is what I heard. There used to be a flanking bonus, which is kind of what you're describing. If you get a creature to turn towards you, then your allies have an angle and would get advantage. They get a flanking bonus. But they don't have that in 5e. They instead introduce help. But
right.
This is kind of like a ranged version of that.
Yeah. I don't mind it as long as you can RP it and convince me.
Yeah,
it's really not that hard to convince me. Again, it's a simple question. I want a simple answer. You don't have to get over convoluted and whatnot.
Yeah, I don't see it coming up a lot. It's basically stemmed from not having a ranged attack for some characters, so they just kind of skip their turn, and that doesn't feel good. I don't think that's a good thing to have your character just skip a turn because they have nothing else to do.
Yeah, no.
Or at least that should be super rare, right?
It should be, yes.
Yeah, so
it should be rare.
So that's why I looked up help, and it might not. It doesn't have to be a combat situation too. For help somebody like look for something, and I guess in a situation like that, you both could just roll investigation, and
yeah,
basically that would be like rolling advantage, right? Like rolling 2 dice.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they wrote it down is you could actually help another player with their skill check, which I think has a lot of RP implications there. But at the same time, it's like, well, why not just have them both roll investigation instead of saying you're helping someone? But I mean, what if you're helping someone that's I don't know, super proficient in one thing, like cracking a safe, and you want to help by holding the stethoscope for them, right? So maybe you're not proficient in it, but you're helping the person who is, so they gain an advantage on their roll.
That'd work. Yeah.
So I like that. Okay, now with cover, there's 3 kinds of cover: half cover, 3/4 cover, and full cover. Yeah. Half cover is supposed to grant you 2 AC. 3/4 grants you 5 AC. So that's a lot. And full cover basically makes you untargetable. That's like if you're hiding. But the question is, is that something that you would see implemented? Would you let us use the cover in this way? And that includes monsters. And then there's going to be follow-up questions.
I would not know. It would depend on the situation, to be honest. Like, if you're covered behind... Okay, for starters, I would not have 3 covers.
3/4 cover?
Let's start with that. We're not going to have 3 different covers. If we even implement this, it's not going to have 3 different covers. You're either covered, or you're half covered, or you're not covered. Simple as that. Because otherwise there's like 4 or 5 covers and I'm like, yeah, no thanks.
Yeah.
So you're either, basically the idea is either you're covered or you're not. if you're half covered, then you're half covered. But if you're fully covered, you may not be targetable, but you will not be able to attack either without getting out of cover.
Yeah, you'd have to get out of cover, use your attack, and then get back into cover.
But you can't do that.
Well,
I would not allow that.
would you be
If you
allowed
got
to do
into
that
cover
with
at the
with your
hold
move
on.
speed? Go ahead.
Hold on. If you got into cover at the end of your turn, and say it's full covered, then you're not attackable from that side, basically. But hold on. Let me make sure. Because I think. Let me see. Where is it? Because cover does take your movement speed, I think.
Yeah, the examples that I heard was people using cover in such a way where they're covered, they pop out, they shoot, and then go back into cover.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, that sounds really strong.
Yeah, no. If anything, because it doesn't say whether or not cover takes. I don't know if Oz is in here, but it doesn't say it takes. I know going prone takes half your.
Getting up from prone takes half your move.
Yeah.
Going prone is free.
But it doesn't say about anything about cover on that.
Mm-hmm.
Which is weird, to be honest.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would say taking
cover is just stepping behind something. I mean, it's nothing that they have to cover in any rules. It's like you're going behind a wall. Yay.
It just sounds really, really strong, too.
It's really, really strong, except for you got to remember that the other guy can also pop behind the wall, too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you're close enough to attack someone, step behind a wall, and, so you're quote-unquote undercover, it's likely that it's close enough that your opponent can just walk around the wall, too, and slap you upside the head.
Mm-hmm.
True. Very true.
Yeah, this would be good for range classes. I think it's a little too strong to say, I'm going to pop out behind this tree, shoot you, pop back out in full cover. It's almost cheaty to me. I guess this is why we're having this conversation. I feel kind of cheaty for a player to do that. Although there are spells and things that stop you from taking cover, like Fairy Fire or in Sacred Flame. But then, the monsters we fight would probably have to have these spells or something. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to use this cover mechanic and then have Moon come up with really dangerous monsters because she knows that we're going to be using this cover mechanic. You know what I mean? You get what I'm saying?
I get it, but at the same time, I mean, it's literally stepping behind the wall. And it's not stopping the opponent from maneuvering to where it doesn't work.
Right. Well, and see, my idea of cover has always been you basically go hide behind something, and usually you crouch down for it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it depends on what it is, right? Like I said, if there's a wall or a corner there, then yeah, I'll dodge behind the corner and say, look, you can't get me. That doesn't stop anyone from moving 6 feet to the other direction and say, oh, look, now I can see you, now I'm going to shoot you.
Yeah, it's part of the reason why I also, especially since I can't use dynamic lighting for you guys or anything, because of how crappy the system is. Mm-hmm. Roll 20, get your act together. But it's also part of the reason why I tell you guys to use the rulers to check for line of sight.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know you could do that. Okay. But it's part of... That's part of where that comes in. I don't... What's the full cover system again? +2, and then... Yeah, no, if you're in half cover, you could get a +2 to your AC, and then full cover, you're just not targetable by them until they move like a few feet, and then attack you that way.
Yeah. And another question, or another thing that seems really strong to me, is you're allowed to take cover behind other people, including your allies. But it feels
That's
like,
dangerous.
yeah, in the what from what I read in the rules, there's no downside to that, and that doesn't make sense. If you're taking cover behind a person and they miss
That
you,
person will get
yeah,
hurt.
the person gets hit. But it doesn't. It also doesn't make sense for just for that person to take full damage, because then it's just exactly the same thing as that monster targeting that person. You know, so what's the point of covering behind another person? In the rulebook, there's no downside, but if you think about it, like maybe there should be. So I'm
There's
wondering,
no
like,
downside besides the fact that you just killed your group mate. I mean,
well,
Yeah,
no,
I was just
that's
gonna
what
say.
I'm
there's your
saying.
downside.
Yeah, you're right. But what I'm saying is, in the rules, it doesn't say that at all. It doesn't say there is a downside about it hitting your person you're taking cover behind.
Maybe because it's already implied.
Yeah.
It doesn't say it at all, but if they're aiming to shoot you and someone's in front of you, they're getting shot. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just as
you can ask
easily.
Mima about that. She'll tell you all
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I guess the problem is that if it's implied, it's open interpretation.
It's
And
open to
it's implied because it's common sense, and we do live in a world where there's common sense. If someone shoots at you and duck behind someone else, well, that someone else is getting shot.
Is getting shot.
It's
Yeah.
plain. They don't explain that in the rules because I think they're under the assumption that brains work and it's obvious that person's getting shot.
Because it's also possible that the person just straight up missed both people. The person
then
aiming at and the person taking cover.
Well, that's always the case, but then that's going to happen whether you get behind someone or not. I mean,
Yeah. But my point is, like, with all these different variables, they probably should have explained that a little better. But they didn't, which leads you to believe, like, so what does happen?
I'm going back to what I said before, is that they didn't explain this because it's super common sense.
I would assume that the person in front of you would get shot is a very good assumption.
Right. It would be a chance.
And they would take the
shot.
full damage. Because you're the one that ducked behind somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as a halfling, though, in general, you can do that. Mostly because you're shorter than everybody else.
Yeah, but if you're actively taking cover behind someone, you'd still... Like, the person in front of you is still the one that's going to get shot, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, if it's like a big spell, like, I don't know, lightning blast or something like that, and if you're taller than or roughly the same size as someone that you're trying to hide behind, then I could see very easily that they take 80% and you take 20% because they can, you're still there.
Yeah.
That is true. They might share the damage.
It would depend on the spell and whatnot.
I think it depends
Well,
a lot.
most of the time. But
There's
to
still
be
a lot
fair,
of common sense on this. I mean,
yeah.
why else they explain it in the rule book, because it's pretty common sense.
Mm-hmm.
But in all fairness, I don't usually send spell guys after you guys. Normally. I should, though. I should start.
Start what?
Start sending spell guys after you.
Oh, spellcasters?
Yep.
Yeah, I've told you before, if you get monsters to actually use different kind of spells and have monsters use covers and have monsters use their dodge ability, like all these mechanics that we could be using, if the monsters start using it, we're going to learn to use them. I mean, that's the way I see it, because, like, it's my first time playing. I didn't know that.
Right.
And so monsters could be helping each other, and then monsters could be, taking cover and doing all these things, and that's kind of like, okay, now we should be doing this too. Because just face tanking mobs is probably not the best way for our group to go about combat. You know, in some situations that could work out. We have a nice, you know, front line and back line and all this nice little ducks in your row. But when it doesn't, like, we need to get creative and not have everybody in the group face tanking something. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Like kiting. I don't. I feel like that should work. When you kite something, you kite a spider, right? I don't know what their move speed is, but if your move speed is more than theirs, you could probably shoot it and then back up and then, you know.
Well, you guys were doing that with No, it wasn't you. It was Gavin. Gavin?
With his
Gavin's
glaive?
the one that escaped.
Yeah, he ran away.
Yeah, he ran away from the knights and everything. I mean, that's basically what Gavin did.
Yeah, that's exactly what we should start doing, or at least try to. So that's covered. Okay, now sheathing and unsheathing, because we're kind of taking for granted that you're using weapons without saying that you took that weapon out. Like, it's kind of roll initiative, and I'm like, okay, I stabbed the spider. I never. It's implied that I unsheathed the dagger, right? And if I want to switch weapons, then it gets kind of okay. I got to plan ahead. I'm gonna need an interaction to sheath the dagger back and, you know, unsheath the scimitar. So I got to plan ahead. And like, to me, that seems like a little. What's the word? Like, there's no flow to the combat if you're forced to, like, oh, that's right, in my last turn I sheathed this. You know what I mean? So I was thinking, what if a situation like that happens again, like where Wolf, then he couldn't attack, he didn't sheath his bow in his previous turn. If you don't use your movement in that turn, what if you're allowed one more interaction? Moon, are you muted? Am I muted?
No,
Oh.
I'm thinking.
Okay, I thought I saw the cat moving his lips, but I didn't hear anything from that.
No, I'm thinking at the moment.
Yeah, cause like, Wolf could have dropped his bow to the ground, which is free, then unsheathed his longsword and attacked. But to me, dropping your weapon feels like a loophole. A loophole to a rule that's kind of strict for really very little reason.
Well, I think sheathing and unsheathing is a bonus action separate each.
Well, it's part of your interaction.
I thought it was a bonus action. Hold on.
Nah. You're allowed to interact with an object once. So if you sheath a sword and unsheath something else, you're interacting with two objects, which you're not allowed to do, which costs you an action. So you're right. It would have cost him an action so he wouldn't be able to attack. So, but what I'm saying is, like, that if he would have planned it better, he could have done it to do that better. So I just kind of want to let everybody know that if you plan to switch out your weapons or gear, and then we could talk about, like, using your focus. You know, you might have your hands full, use your focus. How's that?
Well, most anybody who has a focus, especially in this group, better already have their focus out.
Yeah, they have it, or they have it ready. The way,
yeah, but most of them don't actually have to equip it in the sense of holding on to it. Most of them are wearing it around their neck, or it's on a staff or something.
Yeah. So, like, some things, like the example they gave was like a paladin who's holding on to a two-handed sword. If he wants to cast a spell that requires like a hand motion, like, technically you could say, oh, he has to sheath that sword take out his spell book or his focus or whatever and wave his hand, and that's how he casts a spell, and now he can't attack that turn. But the point they made was it kind of makes sense that a paladin wielding a two-handed sword could easily just hold that sword with one hand just for 2 seconds and then cast a spell with his other hand and then go back to grabbing the sword. That seems reasonable. You know what I mean?
That's about normal, yeah.
Yeah, that's about normal. So, even though technically he's trying to do 2 interactions, it's feasible for that to count towards 1. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, if you haven't moved and you don't plan to move, and there's a situation where you want to trade out one thing or focus on a spell that uses your focus, and
I mean, if you think about this more logically from what he was trying to do, I mean, this is more specifically going from a melee weapon to a bow, right? So you would have to. You would have to literally put the sword away in a sheath, take the bow off your back, reach behind, grab an arrow, and then knock the arrow, pull it back, and then aim.
Mm-hmm.
So all of that saying is a simple interaction is downplaying the reality.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
now going the other direction, I could see.
Yeah, that's what he did. He walked up to the spider and he wanted to slash it.
Was that what I thought it was the other way around?
I thought, yeah, so did I.
No, he shot, and in the turn, I don't know if in the turn he shot, he also, but I think he shot. Then on his next turn, he ran towards the spider and tried to slash it, but he had his bow out, so he couldn't do anything besides switch out his bow with the sword. And if he had the foresight, he could have said, after shooting this arrow at the spider, I'm going to run towards this other spider while sheathing, or while stowing away my bow, and he would have been allowed to do that because he still has that interaction on his turn, shoot and then put the bow away. And now he's running towards the spider, basically barehanded. On his next turn, he's allowed to unsheath the longsword and attack. So you see, if he would have planned it better, he would be allowed to do exactly what. But that's kind of what I'm saying. To avoid that, we could let people know, if you plan to do any sort of switches like that, to plan ahead. And as a DM, you could say, well, if on this turn you don't use your move at all, maybe I'll let you have the switch. I mean, it's up to you, as long as it's between all the players.
I honestly wouldn't know. I mean, any other thoughts on it?
I think it's a call. Like I said, going from a bow to a sword, I think, is more lenient than going from a sword to a bow.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that. I honestly guess it would depend on what you're going to. I will say it that way. If, say, you're going from a sword to a bow, that would definitely take a full action to do. But if you're going the other way around, I would say it would be doable with just you not moving.
Because if you wanted to play it safe, and we're talking about min-maxing here of game mechanics, every time you use a weapon, any weapon, you could sheath it. Mm-hmm. Every single time, unless it's your first time and you just unsheath it. But let's say it's your second turn, you hit the spider, you can sheath it, because on your next turn you can unsheath it again, or take the bow out. Mm-hmm. So it's optimal for every turn to sheath your weapon, and that just feels like you're gaming mechanics to play optimally, and that doesn't feel great either.
No.
So that's why I'm saying, if maybe we could have a little leniency. If a player has the foresight and plans it better, there's no problem, right? Wolf, like, well, it was Hickman, but he could have said, okay, after shooting this arrow, I'm gonna put the bow on my back and then run, and that would be okay, right?
Yeah.
And then when he gets on his next turn, when he gets his sword, now he can slash it with his longsword. So there wouldn't be a problem there.
No, there wouldn't have been.
Yeah, but for the cases where people, I don't know, I could see it if you're attacked, if you have the longbow out, and then you're attacked by a goblin, you wouldn't be able to put your bow away and take the longbow on the same turn. Makes sense. But if you're running towards the goblin, it's almost like saying it's implied that you're gonna switch weapons while you're running. Just because you didn't say it, you got punished. You know what I mean?
Well, also, I don't think it would be that easy to sheath and unsheath a weapon when you're running.
No, not quickly.
It would take almost twice as long to sheath and unsheath a weapon if you're running. Mostly the sheathing part.
Yeah, that's why they have that rule of dropping your weapon. He could have just dropped his longbow on the ground, and that wouldn't cost anything. But again, that feels like a loophole, like a workaround. You know what I mean?
It's not, though, because, I mean, technically, you could just, in real life, people have been known to just drop their weapon and grab their melee weapon to attack.
Yeah.
I've seen it in movies more than anything else, I'll say that, but an RL friend of mine, who plays, what's it called? It's RL D&D, where you go out camping basically, and you have a DM in there and refereeing. It's really, really complicated. Anyways, that's what they do. They literally will drop their weapon, their ranged weapon, to unsheath their sword and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But their combat's so much more fluid because it's all done at once.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then, like, on your next turn, you can just pick up the weapon.
Not really.
Well, you should
Not
be able to
easily.
pick up your weapon.
Yeah, you can pick up your weapon, but I think that takes a bonus action or something.
That's, well, according to the rulebooks, it's still part of your interaction. Same thing as unsheathing.
No, well, yeah. But you can't pick up that weapon if you have another weapon out already yet. Either. I would say it would be more of a play-by-ear rule. And there would be leniency depending.
Alright, yeah, but are you still there? You cut out.
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay, you cut out. You said there would be some leniency.
Yeah, we'll play it by ear on that, but there would be some leniency.
Okay. Yeah, because if we just let everybody know, if you plan on switching or you want to be ready for the next attack to and sheath your weapon, it's one of those things that it's not like we take it for granted. Then when we attack, we unsheath it, and then when combat's over, we sheath it. Right? We take that for granted. No one says, "Okay, I'm gonna put my stuff away." You know, fight.
Right.
It's just kind of implied. In the middle of a fight, it has implications, and you know, maybe we should let people know that there's a way to get around these things.
Right.
Yeah, because one issue would be like with shields, because I kind of looked that up to see if people put their shield away, do they lose the AC? Now, common sense says yes, they do, even though that's also not like stated in the rulebooks either. The rulebook just says if you have a shield equipped, you have 2 AC. But people kind of got into the there's a difference between having equipped and wielding it. If you wield it, you're using your hands and you're holding the shield in front of you. If you have it equipped, it's just strapped onto your arm. And that's where they got into it, like, if you have it equipped, you still get the 2 AC. You don't have to like use your hand. You know what I mean?
That's why we went through everything and made sure anything that was equipped was technically literally in your hands, basically.
So
for a weapon wise.
So this whole like weapon swapping thing, I think has bigger implications with the shield. Because if you get a weapon that was holding your shield, you're no longer holding the shield, you shouldn't get the 2 AC anymore.
No, you shouldn't.
Yeah. And when you're switching weapons between a bow and longsword, your character is basically the same. There's no changes to it other than, ranged attack compared to melee. But with the shield, there is. That shield makes you harder to hit. So for a whole turn, it could be detrimental to lose your shield. So that's why I kind of was looking things up. Like, well, would there be any way to attack or cast a spell and have a dagger and have a shield and have all this? And like going through the rules, it was pretty unclear. But if I guess if you explain it with a turn and say, maybe even before, like when everyone's rolling initiative, say what gear you have right now. Like, what are you holding in your hands? Are you currently holding your shield, or depending on who you are you holding your two-handed? How is this started? That way, during the game, you have to make choices of what gear you're going to switch into and out of. I don't know if that would help, but it might help a situation where, you take a shot, your goblin takes a shot at Bindle, and they miss because you thought he had his shield on. And then on my turn, I'll be like, oh, Bindle's gonna dual wield it and stab the goblin, and you're like, wait, I thought he had a shield, right?
Well, like I said, that's part of the reason why I had you guys do all the equipment stuff, because the way Roll20 works, what's equipped counts towards your AC and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't have the shield, I expect you to unequip it.
Well,
from you on it. It's as simple as that.
Well, it's not like you put it inside your backpack. It's more like if you're holding like a bow and a sword and a dagger, like you could, you know what I mean? They'll be on your body and ready to use. That's what I consider equipped.
I think a shield is more of a special case, though, because
shields, really
the shield is strapped to your arm, and you wield it by holding it in front of you. But if you want to like go from a sword and a shield to a bow, I mean, you have to literally unequip the shield first, or drop it to the ground. You have to like almost put it in your backpack. You got to put it somewhere.
Yeah, you store it.
Because there's no easy way for a shield to say, oh, I'm just going to slide this aside a little bit. It's like, no, it doesn't work. So you have to literally unequip the shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, you unequip it, but it would be ready to, quote unquote, unsheath on your next.
Well, again, with a shield, there is no ready to unsheath or sheath this. It's unequip it, and then you got to go through whatever motions it was to tie it to your back, put it in your backpack, or wherever you did with it in the first place. You have to undo that and then strap it to your arm. So I think shield is less of a weapon case and more of an armor case.
Yeah.
You're changing a piece of armor in that case. You're not switching weapons.
Yeah, that's what people were also debating too, whether. All right, so if you were to put the shield away, that would cost you your action.
I would say so.
Yes.
And getting it back out, another action.
I would say so, yes.
Okay.
Then again, there's not a lot of people I know that use swords and shields that would also use a bow.
Right.
Outside of World of Warcraft.
Well, like
they still have the same problem though. I think smaller shields even have a worse problem. It's more of a pain in the ass than it is to strap on or grab through. You have to grab through two different loopholes and stuff like. Anyway, but still, I think in that sense, it's more of a case of because a sword has a sheath. A bow uses the string that slaps the back of your back. A mace usually has a strap you put on your hook on your belt, but
Right.
but a shield doesn't have any of that. I mean, the shield you have to actually find some way, some extra attachment on the shield to like put it on your back if you want to. Then you got to tie that off, or like you said, put it in your backpack or something like that. You have to do extra things with the shield. It's not as simple of slide it in the sheath and then I can pick it back up next turn. It's not that easy with a shield. So that's why I'm leaning more toward a shield being considered potentially another piece of armor and not actually a weapon class item.
Right. Yeah. Basically, yeah. If you have a shield, it'll take an action to unequip it and then an action to equip it. It's as simple as that. For that. But also, Oz is right in the sense I've never met anybody who wielded a bow and sword and shield. Or any ranged weapon and a sword and shield.
Yeah. So, medicine checks, is that something everybody can do? To stabilize people?
I think anyone can do it. It's just that not a lot of people are proficient at it.
Yeah. Yeah, anybody can do a medicine check. It's whether or not you're proficient in it. Like, Hoppus has a +7 to it. While I think Oz only has, what, a +2?
I don't even know if I have plus anything.
It's a +3.
On medicine? Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
It's based off of your wisdom.
Oh, okay. That's
Your
different.
wisdom's at, yeah.
Wisdom's pretty high.
Yeah.
Alright, another thing was shooting past people. Shooting, like if someone's engaged with somebody in front of you and you also want to shoot that person, right? Like, because you're in the back line. How is that treated?
I think there's a little bit of... I think we've gotten a bad habit of shooting each other in the head, but I think we're gun shy on that at the same time because it really does depend on the map. Like the map we were on last week, that probably would have worked because each square is 10 feet.
Right.
So shooting around someone should be a lot easier. But the first time we encountered this, we were in a map where each square was like 5 feet or 3 feet or something like that, and
like in hallways too.
Right. The other thing you have to keep in mind is like there is the thing called critical failure, and critical failure can do interesting things. So. And if you're standing in front of someone who's a klutz and gets a lot of critical failures, you know what? I'm not going to let you stand in front of me anymore. I'm going to stand behind you.
Yeah.
I'm the victim of this more often than not.
Okay, so there's no like in-game mechanic that would tell you there's
no.
Okay.
I think it depends on the map, like I said. I think if we say that each square is 2 feet, then yeah, there's no way in hell you can shoot around someone because you're like literally standing right there.
Yeah.
But on the map we had last time, I think we could argue that shooting, standing right behind, or not right behind, but standing behind someone trying to shoot around them to the guy in front of them, I think that could arguably work.
Yeah. But that's because those are 10 feet.
Yeah, that's
squares.
a lot of room.
Yeah, it's just
you could even have two medium people standing on top of each other, but they're actually right next to each other instead.
Yeah.
On those squares.
Because I've seen people make an example of the grapple. You could grapple somebody, and they're like, yeah, you can grapple this and then have your buddies all beat them up. And I'm like, well, aren't you gonna get hit too? So I thought maybe there was maybe you're rolling with disadvantage or something. because there's somebody in your way. Like your own person's kind of there's a chance that they could get hit. But aside from a critical failure, there's really no worries then.
I'm always worried, like I said, because I'm the victim of this more often than not.
That's not necessarily true either. A critical failure, yeah, you could get pretty good damaged, but your friend could pretty well damage you pretty well, but in general, if you roll low on the DM's discretion, you can get hurt your friend.
Alright, but it is totally acceptable to shoot. There's no disadvantage, or the enemy isn't considered undercover, because he kind of is.
I tell you one thing: if I hear an arrow buzzing past my ear, I'm going to get awfully excited.
Yeah, it just seems like kind of like a flanking bonus gives you advantage. Not I'm not talking about in the rules, but like in the general sense in any other game, a flanking bonus gives you an advantage because you have a clear line of sight. If someone's
Star Wars.
Well, there's the other. Well, let's not bring that up. There's the other idea. This goes back to the help thing, right? Where you can stand behind someone. You stand behind someone and say, "Hey, yeah, duck," and then shoot.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that situation could also work.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
It's still going to make me worry.
Yeah. No, because it felt like Hickman was a little scared to shoot because he didn't have clear line of sight. So that's why I wanted to bring that up.
That's because that a theme? He was behind me and I was growling.
Yeah. Because Oz was scared is basically what that was.
Pretty much. That was pretty much it. He was behind me and I was literally growling saying, "You better not effing do that."
Yeah.
So,
and
part of that's on me.
Or this is actually the last thing that I have. If you have a spell that says your bonus action, right? Like Bindo has Healing Word. You could use your action to cast that?
You can. You can do on an action. You can do a bonus action. It still counts as your action.
Would that lead to people using like?
To what? You cut
out. We do it all the time.
Well, I use different spells, but 2 healing words.
I mean, if a spell is quote unquote light enough or short enough, however you want to say it, that it can be done as a flip of the wrist as a bonus action, then I see no problem with doing a bonus action and another spell as an action. I mean, that's allowed. So I don't see any reason why you can't do a bonus action spell followed by another bonus action spell.
Exactly.
Even if it's the same spell.
Yeah.
If it's the same spell, I mean, that's...
Yeah, that's why it was kind of icky.
That's a good point. I don't know. That's a little gray area.
I would say try to avoid that at all costs. It can't feel great. I don't know. Maybe it's just my personal view. Like, you're basically casting 2 spells.
You're casting 2 of the same spell. Casting 2 spells I can see is fine. But 2 of the same spell is like, I can get a little bit of But then again, if it's a cantrip, I could probably allow that. Because it's a cantrip, that's something that you have mastered to the point of where it requires almost no thought to cast. That's the whole idea of a cantrip. So if it was 2 of the same cantrip, I could see that.
Yeah, but if it's a regular level 1 spell or higher,
I mean, if it's taking up a full spell slot and you have to actually, make the machinations to actually cast it, I don't know if that's twice and the same spell would. That's a little gray.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say no. Okay. No, you can't cast the same spell, but you can, again, cast 1 bonus action spell and another bonus action spell.
Type
idea.
Right. So Bindo would be able to cast
Cure
Healing-
wounds and healing word or something like
Well,
that.
like healing word and then bardic inspiration. They're both bonus actions.
Yes,
Okay.
because they're both bonus actions. But then you wouldn't be able to attack or anything
No,
because
right. The
one of them
action
would
is
count
used
as an action.
Yes. Okay. Okay, that's all I got.
And you said it was going to take 2 hours.
Close.
Any questions or thoughts, Oz?
Go forth and prosper.